We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
Hey, Kendrick, my brother from another mother. What up, though?
What up? What up? What up?
Hey, man. Let me ask you something, bro.
What's up?
Do you believe that assassination tip, the second one, was real?
Bro, I haven't even seen any, footage or anything. I haven't heard them, what I'm saying, really talk about it. So yeah, it's I don't know, bro. Have you seen anything about it other than just hearing that it happened?
I listen. I haven't even seen very much coverage. Like last time, there were people who had some footage to break it down and all this other stuff. And they just all I've heard was that there were some shots. Somebody was taken into coverage. I mean, I didn't hear something that they talked about, like maybe this guy came from something like this guy came from like Hawaii to like uh to Palm Beach or wherever he was at. Yeah, man. It, it seems very hoaxy, like just because to me it's the timing, right? Like I look at it as like, oh, you know what? I just got whipped in this debate. Let me go ahead and get this so I can get my numbers back up. Like I thought the last one seemed very much like his favorite words. It's a hoax. I thought the last one was very much a hoax, and it was just a way to get his numbers up and sell some more merch to do to get his name up, get him in the polls. I think this one's very much like that too, though.
Well,
I could be wrong, and I don't know how I would feel if this was horribly wrong, if something happened, but I find everything hard to believe when it comes to him. But
right, but here's the thing though. We already got the admission of the making up of the eating a pet story, this, that, and the other. So it's not a far-fetched thing. And the thing is, you did just lose a debate. So what other tactics would you pull in order to try to get yourself back into the graces of the population? So an attempt on your life. And then of course the problem I have with it, right? It's not so much like, okay, if there was truly an attempt on your life, then why are you trying to then turn it into a political thing? Like basically saying that Kamala and Walls are basically their rhetoric is what caused it. But let's do a deeper dive. Let's get this music popping and then we can jump off into it.
let's do it, man.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers and YouTube face. Look at that, I'm going crazy. The Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys and Miss doing their thing. Ace Kennedy.
Yeah. So like I was saying though, we just found out that they was making it up, which is crazy because JD is a part of Ohio or whatever the case may be. And so, you got some people that's calling for him out because of those things that were said on the debate stage. After that, there was all types of things happening within that particular area. And so, and he's just like, oh, well, we just made it up because we wanted y'all to talk about the real issues. And it's just like, bruh, you want to talk about rhetoric and the effects of it. Like, how do you not see this? And this is where you supposed to be representing from. So, like I said, the fact, like I said, if it was just a attempt on his life, then just do that. Why are you turning it into then something political? Like it's Kamala and Walls that basically then got you caught up. That's what's crazy to me.
I think that the part that is interesting to me, right, is that when it comes to the whole the eating the dogs and the cats, right, it just tells me one of two things, right? No, not one of two things, right? It tells me like that JD Vance is a liar because he said, "Listen, yeah, I brought it up and made it seem like it was casual. Like, yeah, I brought it up so that we can talk about this, and I'll do it again if that means that we gonna do this." So now you making me question. I got reason now in history to question everything that comes out of your mouth, right? That you say is fact. So I don't know if you're being truthful. But the other part that gets me the most about that, though, man, is that um, it's mind blowing to me that you think that 45 didn't know, or did he know the whole time, right? Because it makes him look bad one way or the other. If he knew the whole time, then he's perpetuating the lie. If he didn't know, right, then it's just like, all right, well, why didn't you know that, right? You were prepping for this, and you knew you was going to say this, all right. So that's why, like I said, because of this as a publicity stunt, it's just not very far fetched for me to believe that this could be something that's very much an attention grab, all on the account of him losing the debate and him trying to get back into the good graces. Because listen, how many presidents have survived two assassination attempts, right?
Well, this is according to MSNBC. That was always part of the plan for him to bring that up. It was like a tactic that they had on the docket for him to pull during the debate. It was just how far he took it as far as that wasn't the plan. Uh so the thing is, I guess when you only have concepts of plans, you can't necessarily talk about your plan, so you have to have other tactics to do within the debate. Uh 45 says outrageous stuff all the time. So I am not even fixing to sit up here and pretend like I know when he's telling the truth and when he's not. They even asked him stuff during the debate uh about some of the things that he said at his rallies and stuff like that. And he was like, "Ah, did I say that?" So it's just like, nah, that's there's never gonna be a time where I'm like, I wonder if he's right or when he's not. So nah,
That boy just the freestyle king. He's just like, listen, at these rallies though, man,
just
I
letting it
just go off the dome with what sounds good though, man. Some of it might be truthful, and that's why when it comes to him, I especially just don't know if anything. The first time, the second time, it's just like, all right, he might get a third one in and just be like, I'm the GOAT. Ain't nobody survived the things that I survived though, man. He gonna come out next time with the Tupac music. The next time he came out with 50, he coming out with Tupac next time though, bro.
long as he stay away from was it Marvin Gaye? Yeah, they had the cease and desist on that boy.
Hey, so we talk about cease and desist, and also in more news, Diddy
Mhm.
formally arrested,
Yeah,
through with some RICO charges, sex trafficking, the
yep.
whole gauntlet, though, right?
Arson. Uh, uh, there was racketeering. There was sex labor, forcible, uh, forcing people to do drugs. There was a host of charges. Pretty much uh everything that Cassie had brought up are things that have come to light. They were talking about how uh they were talking about how the hotel video, how they paid people off and how they was hushing people, or if anything were to happen physically to a potential person allegedly, that they held them against their will for days to let the bruises heal. And I mean, there's a host of things. And now somebody did post, probably, I think they said that he gets no bail. So I don't know anything about that. Did you hear anything about that?
So what I saw was that I did see something similar to that, and I also saw that that they were basically saying that, hey, they were thinking that, instead of him, since he didn't get any bail, they were trying to negotiate a bail. And I think that they said something like him posting like $50 million or putting up some kind of collateral or whatnot like that for it. So yeah, it is weird. I think that the part to me that is, again, where he's losing on the court of public opinion, bro, right?
Hmm.
Instantly is when, in addition to all of the other things, the charges and everything like that, they said, hey, we also found hundreds of bottles of baby oil. Now listen, baby oil that apparently was used for his sex offs. Now listen, no, the freak offs. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I actually hate the phrase freak offs. It's been like the number one like cringe worthy phrase of 2024 to me. Like it was up there. To me, it was up there with standing on business. It's
Yep.
just what it's just phrases that I hope that we leave behind
It's
this
not,
year. But
because
freak offs is one.
they're using it as the official phrasing of stuff. Like that's the terminology that they're using. I would even much more prefer like sex parties or something, but to say freak on,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. Listen, but I do have a question for you though, man.
What's up?
Um, baby oil.
Lube?
What is the reason to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil and you ain't got no babies? Well, he do got one baby. He do got a little baby. So what is his reason for having thousands? Look, what else can you use baby oil on, bro?
I mean, according to the indictment, it again goes back to the parties. So, there was other paraphernalia that they found as well. So, I mean, I think the question, I was kind of listening to Stephen A little bit before the pod, and he was talking about that, Hollywood needs to be on standby because, there's recordings of all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They've gotten recordings, because a lot of these parties and stuff have been recorded. So they have a lot of evidence of recordings. So that's why, Stephen A was like, that's the question people need to be asking, is like, Hollywood need to be on alert because, they're finally unlocking and releasing these affidavits and all these different other things, showing what's what. You know what I'm saying? They finally showed pictures of some of the things that they took out of multiple homes of his. So it's a lot of stuff about to pop off. And like I said, I don't know for sure about the bail thing, but you know, it's a lot going on right now. And so,
Is the ugly happening? We were talking about if it could he recover, right? And we thought, maybe this boy could just get on out here, put together some dope songs. Is it too much though? Is it way too much at this point?
it's not way too much if it was to stop right here, because right here is the stuff we've already heard, right? But it's not going to stop here. That's the thing. The more and more that they're able to unleash more information, the details that are going to start coming out, because we just had another allegation come out from Don of Danity Kane, that those details were almost just as bad as Cassie's. So
Talk to me about the Don Richards one though, because I
um
only heard vaguely about these.
yeah, it's the same. I mean, I don't know specifically, I can't say specifics, but there was just certain things, like there was a point where she, she was in a group with Diddy. Was it Dirty Money or whatever?
Dirty
And
money, yeah.
so when they were in the group, there were times that she would go to his house for meetings and stuff like that, and he'd just be walking around naked. And she was like, "Yo, can you put some clothes on?" And he was just like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." Or there was times that she was locked in places where she ended up having to shake a Maybach or whatever that had no handles on the inside of the doors, so she couldn't get out, and she ended up having to call her dad, and her dad had to drive in to come and get her out, this, that, and the other, like just different stuff like that. Other times of him walking in while she was changing and stuff like that, and starving them and just doing all of these different types of things. Again, her stuff is available for the public to look at. So her allegations are out there.
I don't. I listen, bro. The only way he gets over this, and I don't think that it's. I think he's already lost the public opinion, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I think the only way that he gets out of this, he would have to. They would basically have to find him, have no probable cause for them to charge him of anything at all, right? Like see, this is the thing about it. When you get charged with the RICO charges, they like in general, right? They are really trying to go after you. They'll put RICO charges on you because I think that that's a tighter squeeze on you. It's a way for you to basically keep it a federal charge, all right? And so I think that the only way would be if they just said no, we found him completely innocent of everything, right?
Hmm.
Then all he would have to, worry about are settling things civilly, right? The Cassie, addressing or not addressing the Don Richards. I don't know, bro. And he would have to fall back. And when I say fall back, he could be as public no more though. His day, I think his days of being a very public figure are over with, bro. And I think that he would be. I think that he's toxic to beyond repair to where I don't see how any label, any brand would associate him publicly, right, with their brands. So I think that he'd have to fall back. And I think that Diddy, as we knew him, the public figure, is done though, bro. Done.
Yeah, even if all the stuff came back that he was innocent, or lesser charges were had, whatever the case may be, uh the court of public opinion he won't recover from, because what I'm saying
No.
is people who believe what they believe it. It doesn't matter what the outcome of the trial and stuff ends up being. But like I said, even if he was to take some lesser charges and it wasn't where he didn't have to serve jail time and stuff like that, because for instance, there are still people that recognize his celebrity, meaning that just as early as yesterday he was out at a restaurant with some of his family and people were still taking pictures and doing this, that, and another. So they're still going to recognize his celebrity. So you're
Sure,
going
sure.
to quietly, I wouldn't say support him, but you're going to quietly still like, oh, that's Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know that, like you said, publicly, I don't know that people are going to be just like, yo, I just ran into Diddy. Whoopty, whoopty, whoop.
Yeah, I saw something a couple of weeks ago, man, where Diddy was just out and about in Miami at the beach. Him
Hmm.
and I think him and Stevie J, they just
Yeah.
roaming the beach, walking around the beach, real casual though, man.
Hmm.
And listen, I'll tell you this though, man. Stevie J is down to the end. Like whatever that end is, he is riding with his guy though, man. It's wild, bro. But like I said, I just don't see how you link your brand up with him at this point. And that's before whatever these tapes come out with, like you said. Once that's gonna be too damning though, bro. Like I just don't see how. Golly, man. I don't know.
Speaking of court, so your boy had to do jury duty yesterday, bro. Oh,
Yeah, what happened with it?
before we get there, was there anything else you wanted to bring up about Diddy?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to do jury duty yesterday, and while I'm not gonna get into the cases that were involved, uh, it was a very interesting process because it was the first time out of my 44 years on this earth that I ever had to do jury duty, and the fact that it was federal court. So that was a whole different thing too. Cause I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't the courthouse that I know. So, it was a whole different thing. But the process was pretty intense, and it was pretty, interesting because, you had to be at the location at like 7:30, go through like TSA, check in, this, that, and the other, and you're shuffled into this room, and they, kind of brief you on how the day's gonna go and what the process is and why it's important that people, you know, do their civic duty on participating. You got a judge kind of addresses everybody, whatever, and you go in this room, and inside the room, you just kind of waiting until they call you for a particular case. You go up. Uh, like I said, I'm not going to give details about the case, but the one particular case that I got pulled in on was a criminal situation, and the person is actually in there. And if you've ever watched Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix,
Yeah,
so you remember the part where the lawyers get an opportunity to dismiss certain
yeah,
jurors based upon answers or just the way the person looks or whatever. So that
yeah,
process happened when it was in there, and that was kind of interesting. On that particular case, I never even made it to the juror seat because there's like, you know, you got over 100 people that are slated to do it on the same day that you are, but each case, you may only have 12 jurors and two alternates. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
Right,
they,
right.
they might pull 40 to go up to be in that process, and then they will get people in the seats. They will do the kind of round robin, like general questions first, like, hey, this case involves the government, so do you have any ill will towards the government? Could you, or do you have, there's going to be some law enforcement people that might be interviewed, that might be witnesses. So do you have anything against the police? Or do you have any family members that are police officers? Those type of questions. And then they start eliminating people like that. And then they ask like some general, they had like some general questions for all the jurors, and you answered the questions, and then based upon those responses, then the lawyers is kind of like taking down information. It's like, all right, cool, and I would like to thank juror number two, but we're gonna have dismissed that person. So then they pull up somebody else, and then it just kept going like that until they got it down. I think, you know the defense get a certain amount of people, and then the government gets a certain amount of people that they can dismiss. So it was a very, very interesting process. F- I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, I wasn't selected to be a juror, which was, but the experience itself, I respected a lot more about the judicial system, uh, and understanding the mind frame of a juror, because it's like you're getting pulled out of your regular life. You know what I'm saying? You have to do it no matter kind of what you have going on, extenuating circumstances, can do that early to get out of it. But I'm saying, for the most part, you're just plucked out of your regular day life. You can't have your cell phone all day, uh and you're just basically there at their beck and call of whenever they need you to go, and you just kind of go through this process until they decide who they want for the cases or whatever the case may be. So I was pulled into two cases, both of them were criminal, and I wasn't selected for either one. I did make it to the jury chair on the second case, but and they did it a little bit different than the first time, because the first time I told you they got to just like, you were there when they was like, nah, dismiss this person, dismiss that person. The second time they just deliberated and came back in, and then they were like, we're gonna call these names, and that's gonna be the jury. So that's how I got dismissed. So I was like, I guess them boys was like, nah, he looked like he gonna send us away. So it was very humbling, like I said, to be in there looking at the people that are watching the people who have their fate of their life in their hands. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and seeing, what I'm saying, being around a judge, or being around, like, I've never seen a US Marshal before in my life, and yesterday I saw two. You know what I'm saying? Or,
yeah,
you know, just listening to some of the things that were presented, uh because we didn't go into the cases, but just the setup of, hey, this is what the person is being seen for, and these are the things you might see within the trial, and here's the witnesses. Do you know the witnesses? Do you know this person? Like, it was quite interesting. uh I would definitely be prepared if something like that happened again.
Yeah.
And I was kind of looking forward to, because I'm just like, look, if I'm here, I want the whole process. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
Yeah, I want the whole experience. But again, uh, I did my part and participated as much as I possibly could. And man, hats off to those individuals that were, on trial, and hopefully it goes in the direction that they wanted to go in. But it was a eye-opening experience, to say the least, because of the fact, like I said, these were federal cases, and it was
Well, listen,
just like,
imagine. So,
this.
imagine. Listen, though, imagine like the Young Thug case, though, right? Where you got jurors out here, and they've been on this thing for 18 months, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, it's like you think that it's gonna be like a 2 week kind of deal. I wonder, like, how does that work when you got a whole job, though, bro? Like, you got to just for that long, like, that's
Well,
wild, bro.
they do ask those type of questions, like, you know what I'm saying, like, again, uh in the case that I was involved in, they had a certain time frame that they asked the question, like, hey, it's slated to go for this period of time. Would you be available to do that type stuff? So they
Yeah,
do ask those questions too, because there are some people who may have surgeries and stuff scheduled within a couple of weeks, or somebody whose child might be getting married. Like, there are things that can, because there are alternates available. Like I said, you got over 100 people that are there waiting to just
right.
be a part of it. So, uh, but the day was long. The day was long, because I'm talking about, bro, I didn't get out of there to about 6:30 yesterday, and we got there at 7:30. So it was a long.
Dang.
So,
What got a true crimes podcast there, huh?
man, it like I said, it very much. I got out of there, and I just called my parents, like yo, thank y'all, because I could empathize with individuals that might make certain choices to make their lives, that for the moment, when they're like, if I do this one thing is gonna push me over to put my life in a better situation, but it could be harmful to somebody else. And you wouldn't think about doing anything like that if you have the resources already available. But for these people that don't have the resources, and it's just like, hey, I can, like I said, I don't agree, but I can understand why a person might want to make a decision that they think, like, if I just do this, it's going to put me in a better situation. Like, I can empathize with it. But it was just, like I said, just looking at these people, where they are looking at their life in the hands of somebody else, was interesting. And knowing the other side of the coin of, these people don't necessarily want to be there either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you're going through this, and that was the importance that they were trying to instill in us. Like, look, why y'all, what we might be inconveniencing your life for a moment, but we promised that we were going to give these people a fair trial of people of their peers, and you guys are regular citizens that live in this time all of the time, and we want to give them an opportunity to be tried by people that are similar, in a similar situation. And it made sense. And like I said, it made it more realistic, you know what I'm saying? Of like, man, the importance of, dang, bruh, this person's life is in our hands to say, based upon the evidence that's presented. But again, it's just like, man, that decision comes from these 12 people or whatever.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, that's wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's wild. The real thing, it was, so everything was how you saw it in the movies and TV.
Yeah, for them, I mean, a lot of stuff is dramatized, but I'm saying the process, though,
Sure,
right?
sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, as far as like looking how they strategically is like, nah, this person, I don't like the way this person is looking, or you see them biting their nails, like da 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 da, or as soon as you mention that word, they looked over away, or you can see how this, you know what I'm saying? And especially when it's in relation to the case, as far as like when it's, this person versus this person, like, you know, are you going to lean more towards this way because you work for this particular organization, or what I'm
yeah,
saying, or your daddy is a cop, so if I'm the defense, I'm like, I don't know, because they probably all the way
yeah.
all the way blue
Pro
over there.
police. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blue
Yeah,
lives matter over here.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now that's dope, man. Real
How'd,
dope.
how'd your squad do this weekend?
Listen here, boy. Derek Carr for president. Because listen, let me start by saying this. I'm gonna start by saying I owe Derek Carr an apology. And let me give some context to it. I thought last year Derek Carr was one of the worst leaders as a quarterback that I had seen in a long time, right? I never liked his body language after bad plays. I never liked how sometimes he kind of berated some players. And I thought that there were some times where he was terrible, but nobody did that to him. And I thought that, to be honest with you, that while the city it showed him love in person, I thought as he went on as our quarterback, I don't think that I don't particularly care for Derek Carr as our quarterback anyway. I don't know if I liked him anyway when he was with the Raiders. But I did say I thought we was going to lose this game, right? I thought for sure that the Panthers game was an anomaly because I saw the Panthers. I thought the Panthers were trash. So I thought we beat the Panthers, but I didn't think we beat them as bad, right? But I did say, hey, I think we're going to lose this game, right? I fully expected maybe we would lose the game by the opposite score. We'd be on the end of this kind of whipping. But I also said, you know what, going toward the end of that conversation, if Derek Carr beats this Cowboy team this year, right? Because we only play the Cowboys every 4 years or something like that. That I would say, you know what? I'm going to apologize to Derek Carr. And beyond that, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to be his biggest cheerleader. So for the rest of the season, I'm a man of my word. I'm all pro Derek Carr. He is my president. He is my MVP. And it's all Derek Carr all day long. And listen, my phone was dry. My mama didn't text me. My mama didn't call me. My daddy didn't call me. None of my brothers called me.
Dennis
I
didn't call
wasn't
you?
tagged. Who that?
Dennis.
Dennis didn't call me. I wasn't tagged in a single post. Not one post that somebody tagged me in. I mean, my phone was quiet. Now, mind you, let me tell you, let me set this up a little bit. So I was on my way back from South Carolina, driving, and I can't watch the game. And so I left at about 12:30, right? And I'm knowing games are gonna come on by 1. So I'm trying to get on the road real good. By 1:30, I look and I'm seeing like, oh, we didn't put almost a dub up on these boys, right? Alvin Kamara's doing his thing. And so I'm still not, and all I can do is just refresh it every once in a while. So I didn't get a chance to watch it initially. I'm only refreshing the score, right? I'm watching this and I'm sitting here, I'm dying laughing. Tanika, I'm like, yo, we're dog walking the Cowboys. We're walking these boys down, right? Now, I had to wait until I got home because I knew that we whipped them. I didn't know how bad it was. I know the score, right, was one thing. I got back and watched the game cast of it, right? And I said, "Oh my lord, oh my lord." Yeah. I had said for the last 3 years, bro, that I won't comment on another team, on another person's team, especially during the season, unless I'm provoked, unless I'm called out. So nobody called me out. Nobody said nothing before the game started. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm straight though. But if y'all would have, boy, this one would have been one of them times where I had a full clip ready for y'all, though, boy. So listen, I'm talking about, bro, it was one of them ones. And I died laughing because after the game, I saw a video live. These boys and all these Saints fans that was out there at Cowboy Stadium. After that, these boys opened a whole parade out here right after the Cowboy game. They out here black and gold all up and down the street. You see it, it looks just like New Orleans. It was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And then what I thought was funny about it is that I did see a lot of people, they did their memes about, oh, we about to whip these boys and we that, blah, 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 blah. Game starts though, man, and these boys is cleaning these things up. I mean, they would have been better off just deleting these old posts, though, bro. But I was over here in tears laughing because, again, I didn't know how bad the Cowboys actually played. Right? I only saw the scores. I didn't actually see how it was unfolding, though, bro. It was. I'm talking about, man. Listen, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty crazy. I'm my boys did not have the same outcome. The Bears looked it's the game is looking too fast for Caleb right now. The defense is doing their thing, but we just can't get anywhere offensively. So it's kind of putting us in a spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do think I don't think he's gonna struggle all day. He's filling it out, and defenses are prepared for him. Like they are doing phenomenal jobs of setting up different schemes and different things like that. So yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yo, so get this. So this weekend was close to being my grand slam weekend, right? My grand slam weekends are when the Saints win, when the Falcons lose, the Cowboys lose, and when UT wins, right? When the Horns win. That's my grand slam sports weekend, right? It's especially like seeing a no hitter when it's those things line up and we end up beating the Cowboys. I had to explain to somebody. I said, for me, even though the Falcons are like our rival, I don't really like it. Doesn't bother like the Falcons don't really bother me like that. Like I've never looked at them like I hate them. Like I know that in the NFC East, right? I know that a lot of like Giants fans they might hate the Eagles, right? And I know that a lot of Redskin fans might hate the Cowboys, and I know that they might hate each other, right? But I think that part of it to me is that in my lifetime as a Saints fan, right? Um, yeah, it's been Saints and the Falcons for the duration of it, but you got to think the Panthers wasn't always there. The Buccaneers had been the Succaneers almost all my life. Um, the Falcons realistically only had like maybe 3, 4 seasons that I remember as an adult where they got to the Super Bowl the 2 times. But outside of that, they've been decent a couple times out. But the Cowboys, though, man, I tried to explain to somebody. I said nothing. I don't even hate them the way that I hate the Cowboys, right? So
Right.
when they won, they beat Philly. It was like I would have rather they lose, but I don't hate them. But I was very surprised that Philly gave up that game like that, though, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't watch all of the game. I didn't, especially I didn't watch the ending, so I didn't know. I just knew that because my cousins got a cousins group on Facebook, and so they were going crazy talking about the Falcons or whatever the case may be. All of them live in Georgia, and there's a couple
Mm.
Cowboys fans within the group, so I knew, like I said, that Atlanta had won. Uh, yeah, the Longhorns, you brought them up. It was a bittersweet game because obviously we won, and we won in a high fashion, but at the same time we did suffer a loss of viewers, right? And we know that people are clamoring for Manning, but he is also one of those. He'll tell you himself that he is doing the process the right way, as far as like he's not trying to, he don't want to see viewers hurt. He wants to take over the program when it's his time to take over the program. But at the same time, we are in a great, excellent situation with him as the backup, because I mean, this dude he got 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? And granted, it's against you know uh UT
The
San
Road
Antonio.
Runners.
Right, right. But at the same time, you're supposed to. What if we would have struggled, right? What if we was out here looking like OU? You know what I'm saying? It would be a whole different ball game. And that's no shot at OU. But at the same time, I'm saying OU hasn't even played an SEC opponent yet. Their first test is playing Tennessee this upcoming weekend. You know what I'm saying? So
Listen, and Tennessee looked tough. And listen, Tennessee's quarterback that they got, not this year, next year.
Mm-hmm.
Could be one of them ones. Like he nice. He's nice. I mean, he's legit nice, bro.
Yeah, yeah. So they have Tennessee this weekend. So that's going to be a real test for them. But they both games that they played Houston first. Houston made a mistake. It was Houston made a mistake. They came back and won, and then the same thing with they played Tulane, and actually Deuce was at the game. He was working the game, and same thing. Tulane threw a late interception, and then that changed the course of it. And then they were able to because for some reason OU has not been able to score in the second half. They just have it's just been non-existent in the second half. Have struggled to score.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I love seeing Arch Manning out there. Like I low key be like expected. Like if we get up, I hope that every game we be up by 3 touchdowns by halftime,
Hmm.
so I can see as much Arch Manning as possible. And he still seems to get that WWE pop, like as if the Royal Rumble happens and you see a name that you ain't seen in a long time come out there. It's like he get the Rock kind of pop or the Undertaker kind of pop, or Stone Cold. Like he gets that. And I love it though, bro. I absolutely love it. And I think the thing that gets me, I do have a question for you though, right?
So,
Let's say the Ewers is still down, right? So now Arch Manning gets the entire day and for game, entire week for prep, right?
he will. He will. He's gonna get it this week. They're not gonna
Yeah,
bring
he's
him
gonna get
back.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we don't play against nobody like that, right? So it gives him another one of them games to work out timing with the starters and everything like that.
Hmm.
But if Ewers is down for 5 games, that puts us into SEC right schedule. And if Arch Manning gets out here and is doing what Arch Manning has done this past week against the SEC competition, do we have officially a quarterback competition, a quarterback controversy here? Because, or do you think they just say no, it's Ewers' team, or do you ride the hot hand?
It's yours team. Period.
Hmm.
Period. And I know human nature, right? You're gonna be you. The Texas fans are gonna be. They're gonna lose it, right? Because again, hot hand plus is who you want anyway. Uh, but you cannot forget what Ewers has done for this organization and where Ewers has taken this organization.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, it's his team. The thing is that if Arch was that good, he would have beat Ewers out over the summer, and that didn't happen. So and like I said, I know Manning is probably trained to say all the right things or whatever, and I'm sure if there's an opportunity like it's presenting itself right now, that he is revving in uh the opportunity to lead this team, but at the same and of course with him working with the ones over this next week and developing chemistry and this, that, and the other, I know it's gonna feel good, but at the same time, when it's his time, it's gonna be his time. So yeah, it's yours team. That's the way that I
Hey,
feel about it. What do you feel?
hey, listen, man. So I'm in agreement with you, but
Mhm.
it does present the conversation. Like it's a very good, healthy conversation. Here's one of the things that I can say, man. Quinn Ewers is probably my favorite Texas quarterback since Colt McCoy.
I can.
Right, my list of quarterbacks for Texas is very short. It's Vince Young, Colt McCoy, Quinn Ewers, but also, man, Arch Manning. He hasn't played a lot, but I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. He is one. He's already one of my favorites of all time. Of all time. Over like major, and he's above Major Applewhite to me, though, bro. Like that's how
Payne
good.
for
That's how
Payne for
much I like
Shell.
him. Way better than Purcell. Much better than him.
Who was the quarterback that came in when Colt went down when we played Alabama in the national championship?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have to look that up. 'Cause
Golly.
it's gonna bother me.
Yeah, it is gonna bother me because if you didn't ask, I'd be able to ring it off top of my head easily though. But no, man, like Quinn Ewers is probably my third all time list. I at first I had Vince Young, Colt McCoy, Major Applewhite. Those are my three favorite ones. In five, you can go James Brown, put
Mhm.
him in there. Um, uh, but but listen, yeah, yours is up there now for me, man.
Garrett Gilbert.
I ain't like Gilbert. I didn't particularly like Gilbert.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like Gilbert though, man.
Shane Bruchelle was okay, but I mean, obviously, we ended up getting Colt McCoy. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, I didn't check to see how. Uh, did you ever like Thompson, Casey Thompson?
No, no, never really stuck for me where I was like when he left, I was like, oh, or when he got in, I was like, oh shoot, either. Like, nah, he's all right. Like I didn't, you know what? Let me tell you who else I did particularly. He's above uh Chris Sims.
Hmm.
You know what? He's like right there. You talking about Sam Ellinger? That's who was up there. I did like Sam Ellinger though.
Yep, I did like Sam too. Sam
Yeah,
Sam
I
is
did like Sam.
Sam is after Colt, right? And then after Colt, I have yours because it's still it's Vince, it's Colt, it's Sam, it's it's yours, and then like you said, Manning. I did like Malik though, I liked Casey too. They just I don't think they had the opportunity to develop like Malik. Like I said, I didn't check to see how Duke has been doing. I know he won his first game, but yeah, it's just been a
Yeah, I don't
while
know.
since we. Go ahead.
I don't know why I even liked Major. You know what? I think maybe I liked Major Applewhite. He was around the James Brown, and I like Major Applewhite just because like we were seniors when Major Applewhite was the starting QB. Because he went like his record wasn't that his record was actually pretty terrible.
Hmm.
But like even with Chris Sims, like I remember when we were in high school, right? And I remember seeing like Chris Sims pop up and everything like that in terms of potential quarterbacks and all Americans. And when we recruited him, I remember that though, man. Um, but yeah, Vince Young, Colt McCoy. I wasn't even blown away by Casey McCoy. I wasn't blown away by David Ash. Um, Tyrone Swoops can miss me as well. Gerard Hurd can miss me. Shane Buchel, yeah, he can miss me too. Sam Ellinger, I think I like Sam primarily. I like him. Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, no, I ain't gotta see Malik Murphy either though, bro. I'm sorry. So yeah, from that, he all time man. Now, yeah, he to me, top five. Top five.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know the big deal that Texas had was making. To I knew it was a big deal that we signed him because we got him from Ohio State, and they
Yeah.
typically draft pretty good quarterbacks. And I knew it was a big deal that Texas, of all places, got him. But I didn't know who he was. When I first saw him throw, I wasn't that impressed. You know what I'm saying? But once he cut the mullet, then he just he got that Texas fade now, and he all in now.
Well, see, for me, I've been watching him for a long time. So he's from Texas, right? But aside from that, he's one of the only few athletes ever as a number one player in the country to have like a perfect rating. Like they were rating him as special quarterback. He's a perfect rating. So he actually left school early to go to Ohio State. And they went there for the bag. They gave him that bag. And I think that's the only reason why he didn't go to Texas because it's like, hey, I gotta get this money. I can't be mad at him. Goes to Ohio State and he's behind and just never got that look. So I get all of that though, of why he went. But
Yeah,
hell, you know,
I'm
he
just
went
wondering
there
though, bro,
and
because you know the portal is real, right? And I'm just wondering, and I know you have thought about this because you've even brought it up on the pod, right? If Manning doesn't get the look next year, the bag is going to be big from somewhere.
It's gonna be huge. And let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you this. Where I think the bag is gonna come in at, I think the bag is gonna come from a rival SEC team. So I can see um um I mean not Florida. Florida easily, yeah. But I think also like Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck is probably gonna go to the league, right? It's
Hmm.
gonna leave their stuff open. Um Tennessee looks solid at quarterback. South Carolina, he's better. He can do so. Yeah. Depending on what Jalen Mel, depending what Melrose do at Alabama, I
Hmm.
think I can see every SEC team except for Tennessee trying to get him out there and tossing him a bag.
Yeah.
Every single one of
In reference to your question, Angel, I can't say which one is more beautiful, but if you're asking me my preference, it's Ashanti.
them. I'm
But
gonna go Ashanti as well, though.
yeah,
And
yeah,
listen, it's probably and listen. If I'm keeping it a stack,
yeah. Hmm.
if we're talking about just the sheer beauty, I don't think it's that close. And the reason why I would even say to that question, that's a great question, by the way. Um, I just think that for one, at least Ashanti is just a different kind of fine to me.
And
Alicia
she
Keys,
hadn't always been that way too, though. Like she glowed
yes,
up for real.
yes. So she's a different kind of fine that got finer. I think that Alicia Keys just kind of has always been very much the same. And she's been gorgeous since forever. But I think the fact that the maintenance of Ashanti's kind of fine is just, yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm wondering what that baby bounce back's gonna do though.
Well, listen, that's a good question because she already was posting pictures. I saw, it's crazy. I saw Cardi B posted a video of her in the gym a week after having a baby, though, bro. Is that crazy, bro?
It is, but modern medicine, bro, and you got to look at the type of celebrity that they have and the money that they can afford to have the best type of care. Like it's just different. And I don't know that level. And so yeah,
She said there's a question. Is Mary J finer? Whoo.
no. I
Okay.
mean, Mary J.
No,
Go ahead.
Mary J is 50. So it's a different scale to
That's
me.
what I was just
I
about
think
to
that
say.
yes, you got to compare Mary to other 50s.
Like J Lo and
Yeah, yeah,
Janet.
yeah. Yeah, because Janet's like 60.
Yeah, yeah. I was just about to say she up there further. So yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, you gotta it's you gotta keep the apples with the apples, and so yeah. But
I'm a,
uh go ahead.
now I'm gonna be honest. If we just talking about that, a comparison to Mary J. 50s, I think J Lo's probably the only other 50. And then it's like, well, is J Lo and Mary J a fair comparison? Because I do think that Alicia Keys and Ashanti is a fair comparison, right? You got the two yellows, and
Mhm.
it's just how yellow you want to go, right? But I don't know that Mary J has an equal that you could compare her to.
She would have to be in this I guess the Sanaya Lathan conversation.
Oh
Uh
yeah, Sanaa Lathan. And listen, Sanaa Lathan still fine. And listen, I'm more impressed by Sanaa Lathan now, bro.
mhm,
So Mary got to be up there. You got to say the Mary, Nia Longs,
mhm,
the 90s girls, basically. All the 90s.
mhm.
All the fine 90s. You got to go there. Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely appreciate the
Yeah.
question. Appreciate the feedback. But bro, I do not trying to cut the pod short. I mean, we got a little bit of time, but your boy
What you
got
got going on, man?
your boy is gonna be performing down at the state fair at 8:30. And you
Okay.
know what I'm saying, got a little special guest and got I just want to make sure that I'm in place. I hear that it's pretty thick out there right now. And
Mm.
so yeah, I am excited about it. And this is the last one of the year for the state fair for the boys. So I always look forward to these performances because you just get such a new perspective of people who have an opportunity to hear you. There was a guy that came up to me Saturday, didn't know this guy, and he was just like, "Yo, I apologize. I wish I could have been here earlier, but you sounded great." And like, it was really a nice interaction with somebody that, like I said, I'd never met and got the opportunity to hear me. So I look forward to doing these. I love the moments of seeing people that you don't know that will just kind of like hear you and stop and then come and have a seat and just listen. Because there's a lot going on at the state fair. We know it's not like you just coming out there for a concert, but you do have those people who, just support you that want to come out there. And I did have some people that came out, some people from the job, and just some people from the church. Like, it was dope seeing familiar faces in the crowd. Uh, but to
Absolutely.
see, but to see those people that genuinely don't know who you are and just hear you and stop and then come and sit down, that's a next level experience. So I look forward to those opportunities.
Well, kill it. I know you and your special guest will today.
I'm sure. I'm pretty excited. So yeah, I'm even pulling something out the archives, bro. I'm pulling something from the Red album, bro.
Hey, man, we'll take these people home so you can get on, man.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all from ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers. And thank y'all for joining us. And thank you that watch and especially the playback. We love y'all. We out.
It doesn't matter what your name
The
is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yep.